Here at the Polymers Recycling facility in Redcar, Biffa specialises in the recycling of difficult and challenging plastics. This is the world's first commercially available HDPE food-grade recycling plant. Plastic from Biffa Polymers can currently be found in around 80% of the UK's milk bottles. HDPE rich bales arrive at the Polymers plant. The bales are offloaded from the delivery truck and stored in the yard, ready to be processed. On average, over 50 million milk bottles are produced using plastic from Biffa Polymers every week. The HDPE rich bales are transported from the yard into the facility. Each bale is weighed and the amount is logged in order to properly calculate the cost and amount of waste produced, as well as the quality of the incoming product. A member of the Biffa team begins breaking up the bale by hand. Materials are loaded to start the process. A conveyor belt transfers the broken bale through to the first pre-sort cabin. At this point, manual pickers target non-food grade plastics and film and begin removing them from the process. This is the first stage in the cleaning and refining of the HDPE bales. Each stage is imperative to the overall quality and success of the finished product. A T-Tech optical sorter uses infrared sensors to detect HDPE within a mixed stream of materials. It incorporates precision air rejectors to accurately sort and remove any coloured plastics from the process. The predominantly HDPE-rich materials pass through onto a granulator which converts the bottles into 12mm flake. These flakes are transported onto a trommel. This removes any non-plastics including glass, grit and dust, which fall through the holes in the trommel's grating. At this point, the flakes are passed through a blender in order to produce a homogeneous mix of materials. This mix is washed in a wash reactor. Different grades of plastic either sink or float in the density separator. The HDPE plastics float along the top, whilst impurities such as PET, metal and glass sink to the bottom. A vibro screen sorts the plastics further as small particles drop through its grating. The separated HDPE is blown through a number of pipes from the polymers plant to a vac plant blender. The flakes are then sent to a second optical sorter, which uses a greater degree of precision to detect polymer type and colour. The precision air rejectors accurately sort each individual flake and remove all coloured material. Natural flake passes into another blender in order for the mix to be melted into the final product. A screw pushes the material along and melts the flake before finally cutting the product into pellets. The pellets are quality checked in-house to ensure they're ready for distribution. These pellets will be transferred to another plant that will convert them into new milk bottles, thus completing the recycling process. Similarly to the HDPE process, PP-rich bales are delivered to the polymers plant. These are processed separately from the HDPE bales in order to produce high-quality mixed plastic flakes alongside the HDPE pellets. The PP-rich bales are transferred from the yard and are loaded into a shredder to begin the process. The shredded materials pass along a number of conveyors and through an overband magnet, which removes any metal from the beginning of the process. The materials pass through a rotating trommel, which removes small particles such as glass. The fine grating of the trommel allows smaller materials to pass whilst retaining the larger plastics. The materials are then fed through an optical varisort which targets film, paper, PET and tetra. An eddy current, or reverse current, is used to separate the aluminium, which is propelled by the magnet and into a storage bunker. This leaves the remaining mixed plastics and a small amount of non-recyclables behind. A conveyor belt transfers the materials through a manual picking station for one last quality check. The leftover materials are screw-fed onto granulated blades, which convert the material mix into flakes. These flakes are washed and pushed through an aqua filter, which removes any sludge or paper left in the mix. It also cleans the product for quality control. The wash flakes are then sent to a blender and into a rinse tank, in which light materials are pushed through and heavies are dragged back and drop out. The Plato screen helps to remove any film or polystyrene that may remain in the mix. After this final quality screen, the finished flake product drops into bags, ready to be distributed. Biffa Polymers is a polymer company for the 21st century, focused on providing tailored solutions for plastics converters and consumers. Operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, this site, as well as many others around the country, are taking material which would have gone to landfill and recycling it to be used time and time again. Biffa are helping to minimise the impact of consumer use versus damaging the environment.